The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Adamu, has rejected the appointment of the party's principal officers as announced by the Senate and the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Adamu said the list of new principal officers announced by the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and the House Speaker, Tajudeen Abbas, did not emanate from the party's National Working Committee. Adamu, a former senator, stated this during a meeting with APC governors on Tuesday at the National Secretariat of the party. The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, the umbrella body of the All Progressives Governors, Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, led the governors to the meeting. The Senate President and the Speaker announced the names of the new principal officers of their respective chambers at the resumption of plenary on Tuesday. Now, Bamidele emerged as a Senate leader, while Julius Ihoveri emerged as a leader in the House. Adamu said the news of the emergence of some of the APC principal officers of both chambers is a mere rumor because the National Working Committee did not approve such. He said the NWC did not transmit any list to Messrs. Akpabio and Abbas. Now, according to the standing orders of the House, the leader of the House is to be nominated by members of the party with the majority, not the National Working Committee. However, political parties with the majority in both chambers have recently been involved in choosing their principal officers. While it maintained the majority seats in the Senate and the House in the past, the then-ruling PDP National Working Committee was also involved in appointing the principal officers. Now, joining us to actually talk about this is Murphy Abadoni, who is a lawyer, as well as Eze Eluchi, who is also a barrister and a social commentator. Good morning and welcome to VOP this morning.
Good morning. Are you talking to me? Are you referring to me?
Okay, this is Barrister Murphy Abadoni. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I am not Eze.
All right. No, both of you are supposed to join us virtually. All right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Let's go on to the crux of the matter. Now, there is also an issue whereby the National Working Committee is saying they did not transmit any list to Messrs. Akpabio and Abbas. Do we think this procedure is not going to create a synergy within the leaders, minority leaders, and the current leaders of the Senate Assembly at the moment? Do you think this is going to create a discordance, amongst them?
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, I think what has played out is simply politics among the politicians within the APC. But I must use this opportunity to also sound a warning to Akpabio, Adamu, and their cohort that this point in time, Nigeria does not need all this. There are so many issues to be addressed. The current president, the newly elected president, has 1,001 problems to solve. And they, as the National Assembly, must be on their toes to be able to work hand in hand with the executive to ensure that the hardship that has been brought as a result of government policies, even if some of these policies, some of us, I agree that there are the right policies in the right direction, but at the same time, there are negative effects or the after effects of these policies. So I'm saying that at this point in time, that we have a new administration that just came on board. Fuel subsidy has just been removed. Fuel has just been skyrocketed from 185 naira to about 485, between 485 and 500, and a little above that. Election has taken place. There is a president now, there are National Assembly members, there are governors. Even if there are those that are in court, even some cases are in the court, and maybe at the end of the day, there are those that may also forfeit their positions. But I must say that it's not the best time for this politicking. I agree, politics is key. Politics, one way or the other, brought this person to office, whether the national chairman of APC as a party, Godswill Akpabio as the Senate president, and the governors and the NWC. But this time, they need to put politics at the back seat. They need to put, this is not what Nigerians want to hear at this point, that the list that was announced by Akpabio is not from the National Working Committee, that is not from the National Chairman of the party. This thing does not add up for an average Nigerian, especially at this crucial point. So I am sounding this as a warning that enough of all this. And Akpabio must be very careful. Lucky as he could be, he's not the Senate president, but it shouldn't be business as usual, because I know he's very good at policies of this nature. I remember the issues of the NDDC and how it played out, how it became, and all of that. That is a discussion for another day. These as of assembly members or politicians that are jostling for these positions are not doing so for the interest of you and I. Neither are they doing it for the interest of the larger society. So I'm saying that this is not one of the things we should bother ourselves with. They should tell us what they have to offer Nigerians. They should tell us the bills they are bringing in that is going to make our lives better. Whatever that has been announced or not announced. After all, there are the other group of Nigerians who do not even agree that some of them should be there in the first place. But they eventually emerged. They are there. They are there as senators and eventually became leaders of the Senate, and the people are learning to cope with it. So I'm saying that the APC as a party, the NWC, the national chairman, Adamu himself, must understand that that is not what we want to hear at this time. That should be an internal problem of the party, and they should go and solve it. And those that have been elected into the National Assembly should tell us what we want to hear.
All right. Now that Adamu rejected the appointment of the party's principal officers as announced by the Senate, does it mean that the principal officers announced by the Senate are not valid principal officers? Because there ought to have been a conversation and an agreement between majority members within the All Progressive Congress. So how were principal officers announced, and it feels like Adamu was aloof, or he was not in the know for him to say he's rejecting the principal officers? He is a chairman of the All Progressives Congress. So what does this actually say for the APC at the moment? If Adamu is the chairman and he's rejecting the principal officers, what does that actually say about the Senate formation at this time?
It simply tells you that there are a lot of interest, a lot of political interest. It simply tells you that some of them are not completely in agreement with themselves. But that is not to say that the principal officers that have got their names announced cannot go ahead to carry out their legislative duties in their newly given positions. First of all, Adamu is not a member of the National Assembly. This is actually a business of the National Assembly. Even if by extension, the party, the NWC, the party leadership also has a major role to play, because we cannot shy away from that fact that these men also came to the National Assembly through a particular political party, because as it is yet, there is no provision for independent candidacy. So every other person that has won election in Nigeria after today, at least after the 2023 elections, must have gotten to that position through the platform of a political party, and to a large extent, I think we can accord the party that respect. But being that as it may, I don't think that has anything to do with the legitimacy of those that has been announced by Godswill Akpabio as at yesterday. So maybe the party should go back to their drawing board and learn to resolve their intra-party issues. But this is purely an intra-party issue. It's not really an issue that has to really bother with the larger society.
Obviously, it's an inter-party issue because we know that Akpabio seems to be a man of the president. He seems to be the president's man. I mean, this is somebody who Nigerians know was anointed to be there. And he has also said that he will communicate with the president on everything that the assembly will do. So can we say that Adamu now is not in tandem, is not working in tandem with Mr. President? If we can allude to the fact that Akpabio is working with the president and the president is aware of the principal officers that were announced, and Adamu is saying, look, that this is a rumor. I don't know about these people. You know, should we be worried for him remaining the chairman of the party?
Well, it's your choice to be worried for him. And it's the choice of others not to be worried for him. As a matter of fact, Adamu, don't forget, Adamu is a product of the former administration, so to say. Adamu was brought in and made the national chairman of the party in the last administration, and some political circumstances made it possible for him to become the national chairman of the party. Being that as it may, you don't need to be told the kind of policies that played out before the party primaries in 2022, during the primaries, and after the primaries. So I therefore say that politics will remain politics, politicians will remain politicians, but they also have their personal interests, group interests, regional interests, and all what may. So therefore, but I must also say again to Godswill Akpabio, now it appears that you are in the book of the Mr. President. You seem to be on the favored side of Mr. President. But don't forget that yesterday the situation wasn't so. Today it is so. Tomorrow is going to be entirely something different. So it will be good. It will be advisable that you, even if the president had given you a go ahead, it's also advisable that you try to carry
everybody else
of
along.
the people within the leadership of the party along, especially someone like the national party chairman.
All right.
You may not be personal friends. You may not agree on certain issues concerning the party. But once critical decisions of this nature is to be made, they should be carried along.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Murphy Abadoni, legal practitioner. Thank you for staying with us on the program. We appreciate you for your time.
My pleasure, always. Thank you.
All right, up next on VOP this morning, INEC closes the fence in Peter Obi's petition against Tinubu in the February 25 general election. Let's talk about this in a moment.